Alright guys, welcome here today to a post-race analysis video of what happened at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in today's NASCAR Cup Series race. I'm coming back from my grandparents' house. That's where I spent the day watching the race this afternoon. And I gotta say, it was a pretty solid race from start to finish. I thought it was maybe a possible top 5 race of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to break down everything that happened, and at the end we're going to break down how the fantasy team did and the drivers that I had mentioned in my predictions video as far as drivers to stay away from, to keep track of throughout the course of the race's dark horses, and of course the must-haves in today's race. So first and foremost, we started things off. Eric Almirola on the pole, led the first 2 laps of the race before Brad Keselowski had taken the lead, but not before long, because the first caution of the race came out on lap 16 when a shocker Kyle Busch blew a right front tire and ended up into the outside wall, I believe in turns 3 and 4 at the time. Very hard, very tough break there for Kyle Busch, obviously, and he finished dead last because of it. He absolutely pancaked the wall. We saw a few tire blowouts throughout the course of the race with some hard hits, and all of them were in turns 3 and 4, believe it or not. And Kyle Busch was the first of a few drivers to do so, and of course he was one of my must-haves in the lineup for today, so I quickly had to put him to the garage. Thankfully it happened early enough in the race I was able to do that, but very tough break. Not really my fault. I think he would have competed up there. He was running, you know, for those 16 laps. I know it's tough to judge that off, but he was well inside the top 10, and he looked pretty strong, like he could be a contender for a top 5, and you never know what could have happened at the very end of the race. After that, we got to the competition yellow. Different pit strategy started playing in, and we saw Brad Keselowski stay out on older tires. That was one of the pit strategies, and a lot of guys tried doing that throughout the course of the race, but Brad Keselowski, for whatever reason, was able to stay out and do it better than anybody else throughout the course of the race, and I think a lot of it had to do simply based off of the fact of how fast of a car he had. It looked like Keselowski and Hamlin had the 2 fastest cars in the race during the day. They had great battles pretty much from the start of the race all the way to the finish. Those two not only were the fastest cars throughout the course of the race, but those two were, I mean, putting on a show, as well as Ryan Blaney in stage 1. Denny Hamlin ended up getting the stage 1 victory, but those 3 for the entirety of that last 50 laps of the first stage, from the time the competition yellow came out to the time the green white checker flag ended at the end of stage 1, when Denny Hamlin got the stage 1 victory. It was a heck of a race there. Stage 2, a lot of the same, only Blaney had a variant pit strategy that did not work out for him. He couldn't keep up with the 11 and the 2 the rest of the day. A lot of it, he lost the track position, but even when he did have the track position, he was on older tires, so he never really could find his way back into the groove of things. That is for sure. Kevin Harvick also tried that same pit strategy that Ryan Blaney worked, and it seemed like his car was handling better than Blaney's, and maybe was actually a little quicker for most of the run during that, but they both ended up having to make a pit stop, got caught a lap down, because a caution came out late in the stage. They were not going to be able to make it on fuel, was staying out at the end of the stage there. It was the longer second stage, 110 laps, I believe. So that really hurt both of their chances of winning the race and getting a lot of track position. And it hurt both of them, obviously. None of them got stage points in stage number 2 like they did in stage 1. So that was definitely a tough break also. Brad Keselowski went on to win stage 2. Another great battle, again, all the way through stage 2 between Keselowski and Hamlin. Again, those two were putting on a show. A photo finish, nonetheless, in stage number 2, side by side, when Keselowski got the win there. Into stage 3, we had a very hard accident, a couple of them, 2 of which involved Matt Kenseth. He blew a, I believe it was a right rear tire, no, it was a right front tire the first time. Hit the wall, didn't hit the wall hard enough, you know, just pull out the fenders, put 4 fresh tires back on the car, get the car back out there. I don't think they pulled the fenders out hard enough, because about 5 laps into the next green flag run, he ends up blowing a right front tire again, and then he made a comment over the radio that he was blowing tires every 5 minutes, so he pulled it into the garage. I don't disagree at all with Matt Kenseth on that. I would be ticked off as well if I was blowing tires every 5 minutes like he was at that one stretch of time. So very frustrating for the crew there, and especially for the driver, Matt Kenseth, behind the wheel of the 42 car. John Hunter Nemechek probably had the hardest accident of the day. He was in the center of the corner when his right front tire had gone down in turns 3 and 4, and he hit the wall at a similar angle to what Kyle Busch did, but it seemed like he was carrying more center corner speed a little bit harder of an angle, and that definitely ended up, it was a really hard accident to say the least. So John Hunter Nemechek wrecked out early. It was really a non-factor as far as the race win went, but nonetheless, you hate to see that happen, especially that vicious and hard of an accident. New Hampshire can be a dangerous racetrack at times, especially now that we have the 750 horsepower at the track. Again, great battle between Hamlin and Keselowski. It was really coming down to the wire between those two. And fuel was seemingly in the picture. For about the last 40 laps of the race, Keselowski was able to pull away. And although fuel likely would have been the issue with that John Hunter Nemechek accident, they were able to save enough under green or under yellow there that they were able to save enough and make it to the end for that final green flag run that lasted just about 85 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So Brad Keselowski gets the win. It's his third win of the season, and that was probably the best race Keselowski has had all season. I know he had 2 wins before that, but he had a little bit of help with late race cautions and having great restarts there. This one, it was all between Keselowski and Hamlin. Keselowski had the better hand, so definitely best race by the 2 car. I'll probably have to move him up to 3rd in the power rankings. And Denny Hamlin ended up runner-up, but I'll go through the running order, see where your favorite drivers finished, as well as the top 10 and the DNFs that happened today and where they finished, and we'll see how the fantasy team did. So here is a quick rundown of the finishing results here in today's New Hampshire race. Again, Brad Keselowski with the win. And honestly, coming into this race, I didn't think Keselowski was going to contend necessarily. It wasn't really any of the guys on my radar, so a good performance, obviously, by that 2 car, that is for sure. Denny Hamlin second. He was one of my must-haves. He ran pretty well throughout. Mark Truex Jr. had to come back after a pit road penalty because of an uncontrolled tire, so nothing on his doing, but a great comeback to finish 3rd there. Joey Logano 4th, and Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 5. Harvick was another one of the 3 drivers that I had in my must-haves. He was on a variant strategy. He came back from being caught a lap down with that caution, so great performance by that 4 car. They were only getting better. Again, it adds on to the factor. This is why Harvick is the championship favorite in my mind so far this season. And so 2 out of the 3 guys had great runs, of course. Benedetto, one of my dark horse picks, finished 6th. And my other dark horse pick, Aric Almirola, finished 7th. So pretty good runs there. See, guys, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff. But that would be why. Matt Benedetto, again, great run. He usually runs well in the 750 horsepower racetracks. He was in the back half of the top 10 pretty much all day. Aric Almirola, he was actually in the top 5 most of the day, but he faded back very late in that last run. Maybe he was trying to save fuel, or maybe just the grip in the car was just starting to go away, and the handling was going away. But either way, he still finished 7th, so a pretty good run for him. Rookie Cole Custer 8th, Chase Elliott 9th, and Tyler Reddick rounds out the top 10. You saw the Hendrick guys battling there with each other, excluding Alex Bowman. Byron was actually in the top 10 for a lot of the 2nd stage, but couldn't keep it up in the 3rd stage. And Chase Elliott with that 9th place finish. I told you guys to stay away from Elliott, Byron, Johnson, Bowman. Bowman was a non-factor. Jimmy was running great at the beginning of the race. Spun out, maybe lost a little bit of the car there because he really couldn't come back through the field. He was up there in the back half of the top 10 that faded out late. Same thing with William Byron. Chase Elliott actually peaked in late to get that 9th place finish. But again, that makes it in the last 7 races now for Hendrick Motorsports. Again, fielding 4 cars at the racetrack in each one of those 7 New Hampshire races, and they have only 4 top 10s to show for. Chase Elliott 9th here. And honestly, I thought Byron and Johnson had the better car, but Elliott was there at the end of the race nonetheless. So there is a look at that. Quick look at the rundown, of course, where your favorite drivers might have finished in today's race. Christopher Bell also had a couple of different tire issues. He was in the top 10 for a lot of the day too, so tough break for Christopher Bell. As we mentioned there with the 3 guys at DNF, John Hunter Nemechek, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch all had tire blowouts, and Busch was the other one of the 3 drivers that I had in my must-haves. But I mean, that's a tough break. You can't really go predict that he's going to blow a tire 16 laps into the race like he did, so that was definitely tough on Kyle Busch. Now let's take a look at how the fantasy team did here today. All right, guys, let's take a look at how the fantasy team did today. First, to run down Denny Hamlin, of course. Like I said, he was one of the 2 favorite cars. He actually scored the most stage points today with 19 stage points. And not only that, he finishes 2nd, so a lot of points in total for Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex Jr., like I said, he actually had a decent amount of stage points. It seemed like he had a really fast long-run car, but not a great short-run car. Because, again, not only came from that tire penalty in the race, But he had a lot of stage points, so by the end of the stages, he was in the top 10 getting stage points, and then there at the end, he finished third, so great run for him. Kevin Harvick with a top 5. He scored some stage points along the way. Almirola was in the top 5 most of the day, fell back to 7th, but still got a top 10 finish there as well. Really the only guy that didn't do so hot on the team outside of Kyle Busch, but I put him in the garage, so that didn't matter. Ryan Blaney, of course. Blaney, he scored stage points early on. Again, he looked very fast in stage 1, but once he lost that track position and then the handling of the car was changing all over the place on top of it, he just couldn't keep up with the rest of the guys. So not a great second half of the race, despite a great solid first half of the race there for Ryan Blaney. So Blaney had a tough finish. Of course, they finished in 20th, so not a lot of place points there. And if it wasn't for Blaney, I would have had a really solid team pretty much this week. Got the 10 bonus points for Ford winning because of Keselowski. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. And I guess we can check the results at how the running order here went. Had 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, and then Blaney back at 17. So, yeah, again, Blaney was really the only downfall on the team. Maybe I should have taken Benedetto. I should have taken Matty D because, as a dark horse pick, he would have been 7th. It probably would have been better off than Blaney. I thought Blaney was a safer pick, but again, I got to really start taking my own advice because it's good advice. 211 points total this week, though. That is a pretty solid week nonetheless. Should move up in the rankings. Not a whole lot because of Blaney's misfortune there, but I could see myself moving up about another 1,000. We got a doubleheader at Michigan next week, so a chance there to gain a lot of points if I do solid in both races. But this is the last time I can use Kevin Harvick this season, so that is a bummer there. With him obviously being the best driver so far this season and has scored the most points. But that is going to do it here for this one. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content, such as videos like this. By the time this video is out, probably be streaming at Auto Club Speedway for NASCAR Heat 5 full race live stream, realistic broadcast as usual on the daily there. So look out for that also. Again, this is the place to be if you're a NASCAR fan because, again, daily content all over the place. Power Rankings video coming out later this week, and again, the prediction for both Michigan races next week, as well as 2 post-race analysis videos in the works for next weekend. So have a good rest of your night. If I don't see or hear of you guys again, comment down below what you thought of the race, how your fantasy teams did, and I will see you guys next time.